So the first heat of modifieds lined up 2 by 2. We do have the 9X of Matt Clemens out there as well. As the field lined up, we're ready to go. Little Laughlin gives them the first green flag of 2012. We are underway, and Jimmy Zacharias having to get off the gas to stop from getting into the back of TJ. TJ in his very first modified competitive ride here at Shangri-la 2 Motor Speedway, but out front it's Wilbur Ebing showing that form that he has. He hasn't lost anything from last fall. He's got the lead. John Markovic, the 2009 champion, in the second spot with Dean Ripkema there in third. Fourth is Jimmy Zacharias. Slight contact in turn number 2. Both cars none worse for the wear. So go down into turn number 3. Ripkema takes the spot away from Markovic. So Ripkema up to second, Markovic in third, getting a challenge from Jimmy Zach.
Well, there's Wilbur, and then there's everybody else, and that contact up there, that last lap, could have been an issue, but for Dean Ripkema, it was not. And John Markovic yielding position number 3 to Jimmy Zacharias, so the 71 now up to position number 3. Markovic goes back to fourth. Walco and Brian Sherwood now in the little battle for the fifth spot. Walco with it as they walk turn number 2 and down the back straightaway, but this one well in the hands of Wilbur Hebing at the halfway point. 4 complete, 4 remain. Wilbur with a commanding lead right now. Jimmy Zacharias putting some pressure on Dean Ripkema. They've got that difference down to less than a car length through the corners. It spreads to about a car length or so as they reach turn number 3. But that battle is working right into the hands of Mr. Hebing as he's able to pad his lead, and a little bit of tap from Jimmy, and around goes Dean Ripkema in turn number 2.
So some slight contact over there in turn number 2. Ripkema goes around. First caution of the season over there in turn number 2. Contact between Dean Ripkema and Jimmy Zacharias. And we've got to see a little bit of smoke now coming out of 71 of Jimmy Zacharias. That's a brand new motor in that car. They just picked that up down in the North Carolina area, but some smoke definitely coming out of that car as the green flag flies. Jimmy Zacharias making it to pit lane. Well, out front, it's Hebing taking that lead, and here comes Andy Walco like a shot out of a cannon out of turn 2. Down the backstretch, he keeps it nice and low. He goes by Markovic on the inside.
Andy got a lot of practice in here. He was with us last week and yesterday, making the big haul up here. Some of this to run today, and of course in preparation for next Sunday afternoon event, the RLC show. But Wilbur Hebing, he's got his car set up. They probably didn't change a thing from last year. Why would you? He had a dominating win here in September last year. Walco running in second, Markovic in third. John has been around the sport for many, many years, making the haul up from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And here comes TJ Zacharias. He looks to the inside of Brian Sherwood, and he will take over position number 4.
At the checkered flag, the first winner of the season is Wilbur Hebing in that car number 51, with Andy Walco second, John Markovic third, TJ Zacharias in his first modified ride here around the Concrete Castle, finishing in fourth. Modified rookie Brian Sherwood finishes there in the fifth spot. Then you have Dean Ripkema, Matt Clemens, and Jimmy Zacharias as a DNF. As they come off of turn number 4, here comes the green flag. We are racing once again with the modifieds. They thunder off into turn number 1, and it's going to be Darren Scher down to the inside. Pushing up to the high side a little bit was the 31 of Bar Z, and they freight train by him on the inside with Eric Rudolph, Brian DeFebo, and Jim Storis. Also down to the inside now is J.R. Kent as Bar Z drops to the back of the field. Meanwhile, up front, Darren Shearer scoots away by 4 car lengths over the P51 of Eric Rudolph.
Well, when you got clean air out in front of you, you can build up a lead, and that is what we saw in the last heat race, and getting out to that lead, Darren Shearer. So that's not too much of a surprise, but Eric Rudolph running in the second spot. Just a car length or so behind him is the unpainted Sophie's Tiki Lounge entry of Brian DeFebo. Jim Storis running there in the 4th position. And then it's J.R. Kent with the dance number on the car here today. Of course, rumor going around that we will see George out there in a modified again this year.
Well, that rumor mill does sure pretty good. As some smoke now showing out of Ken Canistreri's car number 17, as Ken's got that car down to the inside, and corner workers trying to get him to come down into the pit area. And he does make that hard left-hand turn, so good job by the veteran getting that car down off the racing surface. Out front, Darren Scheer commanding lead over Eric Rudolph. Battle is for third. Jim Storrs putting the pressure on Brian DeFebo as they come off of turn 4. DeFebo holds them off. They're going to hit turn 1 once again. We have got 5 laps complete. Just 3 laps to go here in the second heat. Top 4 finishers will redraw for the feature.
Well, there's no real pressure on Jim Storrs, so he will be in a redraw position to potentially pull on the pole with 2 laps to go. This time by Flagger Glenn Stickman O'Laughlin. Shearer smooth off turn number 2, and Storrs trying to get the inside lane away from Darren Shearer over off 2 and off 4, not quite able to do it. And this time by, it's Mr. Shearer taking the white flag. Rudolph has pulled away from that battle for the 3rd spot, but not quite enough juice right now. He's probably saving it for later. And our leader coming off turn number 4, Darren Shearer sees the checkered flag in sight, and it matches the car. He picks up the heat win with Rudolph in second, DeFebo, Storrs, and Kent.
Scotty Brind over in turn number 3, indicating the start box over here in turn number 4. That is the space between the 2 white lines down there in the Speedway. They can't fire till there. They're in the box. Green flag flies, and we are street stock racing down into turn number 1. Charlie Sharpstein low as he can go down in turn number 1, right around the bottom edge of the Speedway. Jeff Goodwin follows him through on the inside. Here comes Glenn Lapolis as well as they go down the backstretch heading into turn number 3. Goodwin 2 car lengths back from Sharpstein as they come off of turn number 4.
Well, newcomer Bennett, starting on the outside lane, kind of stayed there, and he really didn't have much of a choice, but he's gone from the front of the pack to the back of the pack, but he is a newcomer at the sport. This is the first of the competitive nature for him here at the track, but he does have a lot of practice. Back up front, Charlie Sharpstein leading Jeff Goodwin by about 2 car lengths off turn number 4 and taking it into 1.
Well, Goodwin had a little twitch coming off at 2 just then. He got down a little bit on the flat part of the Speedway and got the car a little bit loose, but he's back on it, hitting his marks now as he's closing in on Charlie Sharpstein, now within a car length over in turn number 3, completing 3 laps this time by. Charlie Sharpstein still with that top spot. Goodwin in second, Lapolis in third, Zacharias in fourth. Then the 31 car is the Mike Nichols car as they work off turn number 2. Here we go, challenge for the lead down the backstretch. Goodwin takes a peek to the inside. Sharpstein slams the door as he comes into turn number 3. Can he hold him off? Here in turn number 4, cross flags 4 down. 4 to go, and it's Sharpstein with the lead.
Well, if you were here with us at the Fall Brawl, it brings back memories, some good, some not so good for those 2 drivers. Once again, Goodwin, and this time he does get a run off turn number 2. He's clearly got that inside lane, and he's going to take the lead from Charlie, who may have an issue on the car, as he has also lost second to Lapolis. So Charlie Sharpstein falling back to third, and R.J. Zacharias rounding out that group of 4.
Well, Charlie Sharpstein got out of his groove over in turn number 2, and that's what allowed Goodwin and Lapolis to go by as they head down into turn number 3. Goodwin with that top spot. Lapolis in second, just a car length behind. And Charlie can't keep the car down quite as well as he could. Getting a challenge now from R.J. Zacharias, who was a little bit loose in turn number 4 that time. They go down into turn number 1. R.J. Zach and Charlie Sharpstein in that battle for third, working off turn number 2, half a car length separating them. Now a full car length as they head down to turn number 3. Meanwhile, Lapolis closing in on the back deck of Goodwin. They come off of turn number 4, white flag in the air.
Well, 1 more half mile to negotiate. Jeff Goodwin got the lead, and Lapolis trying to take it away. Yeah, he's got a half a mile, but look at the battle right behind him for third spot, R.J. Zacharias. He's going to try and do the same kind of maneuver. He's got the nose of the car there, not much else. And Charlie's going to try and hang on to the spot, but our leader coming off turn number 4, it's going to the 05 of Jeff Goodwin. Lapolis finishing second. Sharpstein will hang on for third. Fourth going to R.J. Zacharias, and fifth to the 31 of Mr. Nichols.
As the street stock second heat gets set, it takes the green flag. We're underway as Lee Sharpstein bolting out to the early race lead. Now, Lee was chasing that car yesterday all over the track. Let's see how he does here in the heat race. Let's see how good Gil's car. I'll get him right. There's only 3 of them, so you've got to get it right sooner or later. Lee Sharpstein, Gil Sharpstein, and the car number 72 of Terry Potrabowski 3 car, breakaway from the field in fourth. It's the rookie, Gary Summers.
Well, looks like Gill had a little bit of an issue off turn number 4. The car bobbled back and forth just a bit. They're still separated by about a car length over there in turn number 3 on this second lap. Of course, Lee picking up the championship the last 2 years in a row, pretty much in dominating fashion. Terry Petrobowski running in third position. Terry is known to frequent many of the dirt and asphalt concrete tracks in the southern tier. Generally a competitive car when he offloads it. Tarbach's an early retiree from this one, but the brothers Sharpstein keeping it interesting up there. It looks like Gill taking a peek, but not wanting to push the issue.
I can tell you that those brothers, they love each other as brothers, but they play hard. They really, really do. And I think Gill, after 2 seasons of looking at the tailpiece of his brother Lee, is tired of seeing that car number 8 staring him in the face. He wants to get by him in the worst way. But Lee Sharpstein takes that McDowell Motorsports car number 8 down to the inside in turn number 3. Bob Ripley low and slow in turn number 3. He's going to bring it pit side, so 2 retirees from this heat. And then we've got the other 2 drivers out there getting used to their first competitive laps here around the concrete castle. That'd be Chris Conrad and Gary Summers. Out front, it's the brothers Sharpstein, Lee in the 8, Gill in the 6 and 7/8 as they come off of turn number 4 with 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go in this second and final street stock heat of the afternoon.
And Lee and Gill taking it off turn number 2. The gap had widened just a bit a lap or so ago to more like 2 car lengths, but looks like Gill has closed it up a little bit more, and they'll get the white this time by. Terry Petrobowski still there in the 3rd position. Cars are hooked up. They're hugging that low groove over there through the corners, which is exactly where Lee tends to run. And the little brother looks like he's going to best the big brother again. Lee Sharpstein taking the win over Gill. Terry Petrobowski will come home 3rd.
As they come down out of turn number 4, Glenn O'Loughlin looks them over to green flag flies on the Sportsman here at Shangri-la 2. They head off into turn number 1 and taking advantage of that outside groove and really getting some head of steam up is Tony Hanberry. He's up there in that top spot. He's got Jody Buckley right behind him in that 20 car. Buckley here on practice 1 week ago had that car dialed in. He's a strong competitor as he works off turn number 4 down to turn number 1.
Well, that car went from ownership by Buck to Buckley. It's a former Buck Catalano car that raced a good deal up at Spencer Speedway. And Jody had it pretty well dialed in. He also brought a street stock with him last week, but it's not quite legal for use here at the track. He's going to put some pressure on Tony Hanberry. It looked like he had a good run, but he bobbled a little bit coming off the corner. Paul Johnson getting out of line up there, and he's going to lose 1, 2, and now 3 spots. And Tony Hanberry again has a mirror full of Jody Buckley. And Tyler Ripkema, not sure what happened, wasn't looking that way, but Tyler's got smoke coming from the car.
As they come down here into turn number 4, Glenn O'Loughlin looks the field over once again. Green flag flies, and here comes Hanberry and Buckley side by side down at turn number 1, but Tony Hanberry quickly making the move and putting Jody Buckley back into 2nd. John Wilbur there in 3rd as he bought his car back after selling it at the end of the season last year. He's out there still running strong in that same car. We are halfway, 4 down and 4 to go.
Well, it's got to feel good for Jody Buckley to be as competitive as he is. You know, you go out, you buy a good car, hooked up, he's got to run off the corner. It doesn't look like he's going to have enough, though. And that opened up a nice opportunity for John Wilbur. Mr. Outside, you know, that's a title that really belongs to Tony at a lot of tracks. So the battle on, it's a 2-wide battle, 4-second spot, all occurring behind Tony Hanberry, and John Wilbur making an outside pass on Jody Buckley, going for more. He's going for Tony Hanberry up there in the corners. And Hanberry's going to hang on at this 2 laps to go sign. We got a great race up front.
Well, John Wilbur was very strong in that car at the end of the season last year. Here comes Buckley battling back on the inside for second, but Wilbur powers down the backstretch in third on that outside line, drives it hard and deep into turn number 3, pulls in line behind Tony Hanbury as the white flag flies. One more time around the Speedway. Will Wilbur make the high side work? He's looking, trying to fake Hanbury out to the high side, looking for a low move. Not going to happen this time as they go in the tire tracks down the backstretch. Keep your eyes on turn number 3. Here's John Wilbur right on Hanbury's back bumper. They work off turn number 4. All eyes on the starter stand, and the checker flag is out to Tony Hanbury by less than a quarter of a car length over John Wilbur. Jody Buckley finishes in third. Paul
Glenn O'Loughlin eyeing them up as they approach that starting spot in turn number 4, and the green is out. Nice clean start with Zach Curran up alongside. Turned out to be Jimmy Zacharias on the pole position.
Well, Jimmy Zach pulling away from the field as they get down to turn number 3. Zach Curran turned a lot of laps in practice here yesterday, working off turn number 4. But Jimmy Zacharias picking right up where he left off in that championship winning car. He's down into turn number 1, the Golden Boy, working off turn number 2. And problems for Matt Clemens as that car just shut off going down to turn number 1. Battle for second between Zach Curran and Rusty Smith. They work off turn number 4. This time Curran holds on. Smith right in his tire tracks. There's John Markovic, Michaela Ripcom up, and Dylan Terry.
That's also a new car for Zach Curran, purchased over the winter months. And Rusty Smith taking a peek to the inside, not making a move at this point, but just kind of eyeing up the line that Zach Curran is choosing to run here, while Jimmy Zacharias continues to put some more of a gap between himself and that battle for second. Markovic hanging on to position number 4. Michaela Ripkema staying right with him. Battle on still for position number 2.
So Jimmy Zacharias, a half a straightaway advantage over his next closest competitor in second, Zach Curran, who's got the competition from behind with Rusty Smith. Rusty sporting those Blue Ox colors out of Oxford, New York, working off of turn number 2. Hoping to see Rusty here next week in an RLC Modified, but right now he's putting the pressure on Zach Curran as they go down into turn number 3.
And they approach the back of that Matt Clemens car. He was far enough down in the apron not to be an issue, but that car certainly sounds pretty sour. It's one of the cars that comes up from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Still separated by about half a car length. Our 2 battling for 2 go into turn number 3.
Rusty Smith a little bit loose as he had to chase it down the track, losing some distance to Curran. They go down into turn number 1. Curran now with a 2-car length cushion as they work over in turn number 3. But on cruise control, it's Jimmy Zacharias working off of turn number 4. This time he's going to see a white flag from Glenn O'Loughlin.
Well, it's certainly better luck than he had in his modified here earlier today. They continue to work on that one, and this battle for second continues on. And then there is 4th, 5th, and 6th running nose to tail with Michaela Ripkema right in the middle of that one. The gold and red, there he is, the Golden Boy himself. Jimmy Zacharias picking up the heat win. Zach Curran finishing a solid second with Rusty Smith in third.
The green flag flies. They start to come up through the gears and they get down towards turn number 1. And it's going to be Dayton Cody taking it down into turn number 1. Brandon Amy found him right on through. Here comes Purvis down to the inside of Morich as they battle side by side for third down the backstretch. Purvis will take that away. Morich now back to 4th, but Cody up front with Amy in 2nd as they come down to complete lap number 1.
Well, a couple of these guys spend part of their weekend running dirt as well, not necessarily the same cars. I know Dayton Cody has several cars in the stable that he competes on in the northern tier, but looks like Brandon Amy has really closed the gap and applying some pressure on him. Gene Purvis and Frank Morch, they've raced together a lot over at Chemung over the years, and it looks like Purvis is slowing. He's getting down on the apron, and Frank is going to go around him. So Purvis, I don't know that he has any time here at the track. That doesn't appear to be the car that he ran last year, so maybe some more homework to be done.
Yeah, I saw some smoke coming out of that car, and looks like a trail of fluid. There is a trail of fluid down, but he was down on the asphalt portion of the track. So we're halfway, 3 laps down, 3 laps to go, and it's Cody with the lead with Amy in 2nd, Morich in 3rd. Morich nearly a straightaway behind the lead pack as they go down to turn number 3. Brandon Amy trying to follow right in the tire tracks of Dayton Cote as they work off turn number 4. Now, Dayton Cote was here for the first practice 2 weeks ago. Brandon Amy here yesterday. So they both spent some time around the almost said the Monster Mile. It's the Monster Half Mile. Boy, I can tell where my mind has been as they go down the backstretch, heading down into turn number 3 once again.
Well, you said they were going to make a race out of it, and with the exception of Frank, who doesn't have a racing partner right now, these guys are making a race of it. And off turn number 2, Amy finds the opening he needs, and he, on this final lap, has the advantage as they come off turn number 2 and head down the back straightaway. Cody staying on the high side. He closes the gap up just a bit on Brandon Amy. And they'll come off turn number 4 and our inaugural winner. Look at the arm out of the air. He's happy. Brandon Amy, our winner. Dayton Cody will finish second. Frank Morich third.
Let them see all your support here at Shangri-la 2. There's Crazy George Swansboro, the owner, promoter, and late model driver himself down there into turn number 1. Is everybody checking those belts? Making sure the helmets are on nice and tight. They got their radio communications all set up and they're ready to go for 35 laps of fast and furious modified action around the concrete castle. Well, Carol, this is what everybody's been talking about all winter long, is the return of modified racing semi-regularly anyway to Shangri-La 2 as they get set to go. Your front row is TJ Zacharias and Wilbur Hebing. The field comes down into turn number 3. The pace car will peel off. It does. Now the pace being set by TJ Zacharias comes down into the restart area. The green flag flies and we're modified racing with Wilbur Hebing on the outside trying to get the early advantage on TJ. TJ hanging right in there down low, stays right with Hebing. Take him off at turn number 2. But his team cars going down the backstretch, Hebing and Rudolph, as they make a power move around the high side. They take over the top spot coming off of turn number 4. Bill Hebing leads the way.
Well, as I mentioned a couple times, Bill won the last modified race here back in September, and he dominated that one. Eric Rudolph in the teammate car, and he's already taken a peek to the outside. As mentioned, Eric doing some dirt modified racing in New York State this year, but he's been here a few times, hasn't forgotten anything, and trouble. 2 cars in trouble. It looks like Markovic and J.R. Kent up against the wall. J.R. Kent was on both left wheels, kind of riding the wall here in turn number 1, and John Markovic is able to drive away. Both cars able to drive away, but that is always the good news, that both cars able to drive away.
He's right on that throttle, but Eric Rudolph staying right with him. It's Hebing taking the advantage off of turn 2 down the backstretch, pulls in front of his teammate down into turn number 3. Rudolph stays right with him as they come into turn number 4. Here comes Brian DeFebo and the car number 1 of TJ Zacharias trying to send off Darren Scher in turn 1.
TJ running in the modified. They acquired some cars over the winter. I guess that's not a news flash. But right now, Darren Scher moving to the outside of him. It's a battle for position number 4, as Darren is not one to be timid about going to the outside. Andy Walko coming along right behind the one of Jimmy Zacharias. Now, Darren has not been able to complete that pass, but the car's hooked up, and it's handling on the outside groove. Up front, we have a 3-car breakaway, still the teammates of Hebing and Eric Rudolph.
Well, everybody trying to get around TJ Zacharias in that 1 car. Darren Scher not able to keep enough traction on the high side. Breaks strict just a little bit, opening the door for Andy Walko now as they sort out that battle for 4th to a single file battle. But here comes Jimmy Zach. He's picking him up, putting him down. He's battling Darren Scher down in turn number 1. Up front, it's Wilbur Hebing with the top spot by 3 car lengths over Eric Rudolph in that 351. Then it's 6 car lengths back to Brian DeFebo. Big gap back to a side-by-side battle between TJ Zacharias and Andy Walko. Walko up on the high side, TJ down low, and Jimmy Zach now in the mix.
Well, it's a case of the Zach brothers now running nose to tail as Walko got up in that loose stuff. He lost another position as Derek Scher has gone past him. So Andy Walko, perhaps a little bit of a mistake up there, and he has slipped back to position number 7. He's got everything he worked for earlier. He's got to work for again. Jimmy Zacharias was able to clear his younger brother, and he is now running in 4th, chasing down DeFebo and our leader. spinning alone up here, I believe. I don't think there was any contact. And Wilbur Heaving is spun off into the grass up here in turn number 4. A little bit of drama, and that's going to put the lead in the hands of Eric Rudolph.
I have to agree, Carol. I did not see contact, and he had enough of an advantage, but I think he might have just gotten down there a little bit lower than he had been, and the car broke traction, and he went around. So the field getting set for the resumption of green flag racing. It's going to be Eric Rudolph showing the way with that P51. Brian DeFebo on the outside. Pace car is in. We're ready to go as they come off of turn number 4 in the no start zone, and they've got the start, and DeFebo timed it perfectly and really gets the advantage as he comes off of turn number 2. I don't know what happened to Eric Rudolph, but he just didn't go when it was time. So there came DeFebo. He took the race lead.
Well, it created a little bit of an issue for those behind, and TJ Zacharias was one of those that kind of got caught on that restart and enabled both his brother Jimmy and the Darren Shear, number 3, to get on past. So they're all up in front of car number 1. Andy Walkel and Jim Storis, well, they're going at it now for position number 6. Andy does have a fast car. He didn't have a great restart that time around, and he's got to go back to work now on the 47 of Storis.
I told you those two were going to put on a show, and they will. As they work off turn number 2, here comes Walco to the inside of Storis in that battle for the 7th spot. They take it. Now Storis moves up to 6. DeFebo with the lead.
And right behind that battle we've just been talking about is the 51 of Wilbur Heaving. Of course, there's caution coming out for him. Just ahead of him is the 95 of Brian Sherwood. Sherwood now to the back deck of that Storis machine. So we've got action toward the back of the pack as Wilbur Heaving tries to get back up in the heat of the battle. Our 4-car breakaway still has, now has Brian DeFebo as our race leader.
DeFebo followed by Rudolph as they work over in turn number 4. Jimmy Zach there in the 3rd spot. Remember, brand new motor under the hood of that Zacharias racing machine as they work over in turn number 1. There is the 3 of Darren Scher, the Traxxas ride. As they go down the backstretch, they go down to turn number 3. Boy, Rudolph really driving it in deep, but he just cannot catch DeFebo. DeFebo loves opening day at the Concrete Castle. Brian DeFebo was the winner the last time the modifieds ran regular here in 2010. Brian DeFebo was the winner on opening day.
Multi-time track champion down at Mountain Speedway when it was evergreen, and also when it was mountain. He's done some running. I believe he was the runner-up last night down at Mahoning Valley. And so he's a modified racer for sure. It's in his blood. And the 9X of Matt Clemens giving us a little bit of smoke here. And Brian Sherwood has slowed considerably. Not sure what the issue is with the 95.
Well, Brian Sherwood had some problems in his first practice yesterday. Sherwood low and slow over in turn number 2. This is going to bring out a caution, I believe, as he's really slow over there. Not sure whether there's some problems with that left front suspension, but we do have caution here on lap number 16. We're just past halfway. So the 3rd caution of this event, this one for the 95 of Brian Sherwood. Low and slow over in turn number 2, and I'm not exactly sure what happened to Brian, but like I said, he did have some issues during his first practice yesterday afternoon. They just brought that car out yesterday, been working on it furiously, he and his dad Lee multi-time Shangri-la modified champion, and we're trying to see if they might have a second modified in their future. Now he's got the car running again.
2 laps short of the halfway point, we resume the racing action. Brian DeFebo on the inside with Eric Rudolph along the top side. Rudolph trying to get some momentum going off turn number 2. He's on that outside, he's got momentum. What he doesn't have is the lead at the stripe, but that may change as Eric Rudolph with that beautiful car to the front of the pack. DeFebo now back to 2nd with Zacharias in 3rd. Andy Walco is holding down the 4th spot, but on the outside of him it's Darren Shear. Shear tried to do what Eric Rudolph just did, and that is take away a spot on the outside. With the track green pretty much all the way around, it might be a case of fair play.
Well, everybody saw Rudolph with that move. There is a second groove. It's just, do you have the ability and the setup under the car to use that second groove? And you can see Rudolph kind of working his way up the track a little bit. Same thing with DeFebo. DeFebo trying to hold off Jimmy Zacharias. And here's Darren Shearer working over Andy Walco for fourth. They work off turn number 2. Shearer and Walco wheel to wheel as they get down to turn number 3. But they've got Jimmy Zacharias right in front of them as they come off of turn number 4. Walco with a wiggle off turn number 4. Holds on the fourth at the stripe. But that battle continues in turn number 1.
Well, the one right behind it was a battle for 6th, and it was just settled up there in 3 and 4. And that is the 51. Early race leader Wilbur Hebing has taken over the spot. In front of him, they're still going at it for position number 4. And a bobble that time by Brian DeFebo, and it sets up the move that Jimmy Zacharias was waiting for. He's going to get underneath and take over second spot. Here comes Walco trying to get third.
Oh, and Andy Walco drives it deep into turn number 3. Hanging Brian DeFebo up on the high side. Walco gets by. So does Shearer. So Brian DeFebo slides back to the 5th spot. Wilbur Hebing up to 6th, and he's got that car twitching. He's driving it for all it's worth as he goes down the backstretch. Trying to force his way back up through the field. Just a half a straightaway behind race leader Eric Rudolph, who's right now on a rail and on cruise control. Eric Rudolph, a 1.7-second advantage over Jimmy Zacharias running in 6th.
Well, that's a huge advantage at any racetrack, and on a half-mile track, it is even bigger. Nose to tail, they come off turn number 4 for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and Darren Shearer has caught Andy Walco, closing the gap. Walco taking a peek inside the 71, not finding what he needs. Jimmy Zacharias being very, very protective of second spot right now. It was a yeoman's effort that got that car fixed after that issue he had in his hot lap earlier today, but he's back out there hanging on to second spot. Walco wants it the worst way.
Andy Walco really working over Jimmy Z as they go down the backstretch. Eric Rudolph looking for his first ever Concrete Castle win. He's got that top spot right now. Stretches out the advantage now to 2.2 seconds over Jimmy Zacharias. And Zacharias cannot let up because Walco's right there ready to pounce. They have separated themselves from 4th place running Darren Shearer. Wilbur Hebing now has himself up into 5th. Brian DeFebo has slid back to 7th. He's trying to battle with Dean Ripkeman for that spot. But up front, the battle is for 2nd. Andy Walco relentless on Jimmy Zacharias as they head down the backstretch into turn number 3.
Well, he applies the chrome horn over there as they approach turn number 3. Walco, perhaps a faster car, but we say it week in and week out. You might have the faster car, catching them is one thing, getting around them something else. Walco takes a peek upstairs, but Zacharias slams the door on him. Andy Walco trying to dive underneath, and once again, the Zacharias 71 slamming the door on Andy Walco. Darren Shearer catching that group, and here comes Wilbur Hebing. Boy, all these guys need right now is a caution, because Eric Rudolph is becoming more and more of a memory to them. Eric Rudolph's back bumper getting further and further away as these guys are battling it out for position. Caution coming out as Jim Storrs has collected the wall over there in turn number 2. We have 5 laps remaining. Folks, I don't think you're going to want to miss these last 5 laps. That is the one thing Eric Rudolph didn't want to see, and the one thing Jimmy did. Eric Rudolph and Jimmy Zacharias restarting alongside each other with 6 laps remaining. Andy Walco and Darren Shearer right behind them. Then it's Wilbur Hebing, the race that got away early on from him, and Dean Ripkeman. In row 3, the Corvette pace car pulls to the infield. We have 6 laps to go. They reach that restart spot, and away goes Eric Rudolph getting the better of Jimmy Zacharias on that restart. Andy Walco, he'll go back to work on Jimmy while Eric tries to build up a lead on the 71. Walco to the inside, but Jimmy's going to hang on to second as they complete lap number 30 with the indication 5 to go given from Glenn O'Loughlin to the field. Walco takes the peek to the inside. Jimmy's going to slam the door on him one more time. Looks like Andy has got a shot in turns 2 and 4. And no attempt to make a pass there. Let's see what he does up here in 3. For now, he's going to stay in the tire tracks of Jimmy Zacharias while Eric Rudolph continues to pace the field. Keeping in position number 5, right behind him, it's the 24 of Dean Ripkema. And this time by, it's 2 laps to go. Andy Walco trying to get Jimmy out of the way. There's a little bit of a tap. There's a little bit of contact. Let's see who has it off turn number 2. Andy Walco taking over second spot. Jimmy is there in third. White flag, perhaps too little too late, and Andy clearly thinking he had the faster car early on when the chrome horn was applied to the back of Jimmy Zacharias' bumper. Enough about him. Back up front, it's Eric Rudolph picking up his first ever win in the modifieds here at Shangri-la 2 Motor Speedway. Finishing second, Andy Walco. Jimmy Zacharias will finish third. Darren Shear fourth, and Wilbur Hebing in fifth. And of course, Ed McGuire and the crew will be making their way over to victory lane. His cars led the bookends of this one, led early, led late, and led the lap that counted in the end. Eric Rudolph, what a beautiful car that is. A lot of chrome cars, and Tom's down there with trophy in hand.
Wow, what a great first modified race of the season, huh? How about that? Let the competitors hear it. Great competition out there on the Speedway. And what about that move that Andy Walco used there with 2 laps to go? Boy, he just timed that right, made that move down the inside. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for a first-time winner here at Shangri-la 2 Motor Speedway, Eric Rudolph. Eric, we'll get you right over here, and a very nice trophy for you here on Mother's Day. Congratulations, your first win here at the Concrete Castle.
All right, thank you very much for all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day. I'd also like to thank Ed McGuire for helping me get in this ride. It was definitely hooked up tonight, and special thanks to the guys that worked on it getting ready for me.
Well, early on, you and Bill Hebing were really having the tussle there between the two of you.
Yeah, I really thought we were going to duke it out there to the end, but he just lost it in 3 and 4, it looked like. I was looking forward to finishing 1-2 with my teammate there, but what are you going to do? At least we got one of them in victory lane, right?
There you go. You got one in victory lane. And how about next week? Are you going to be back in this ride next week?
We're not positive. We'll go back to the trailer, we'll discuss it, and hopefully we'll be back.
Well, hopefully we see you back here. Great run for you today, and congratulations on your first ever win here at Shangri-La 2.
All right, thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Rudolph, a first-time winner here at Shangri-La 2. Up front as they come off of turn number 4, 2-time and defending champion Lee Sharpstein takes them to the green flag. They head off down to turn number 1. Lee Sharpstein with the top spot. Charlie will fall right there in the second spot. Terry Piotrowski in third, but he's getting a challenge by Gil Sharpstein in the 6 and 7/8 as the Sharpsteins want to keep all 3 cars up in the front.
Well, Gil, excuse me, you were a little slow on that start. I thought maybe Terry Piotrowski was going to get the better of him. But they are both still running side by side with the exception of the front 2. You'd almost think that this was the opening lap. Now Gil breaks away and brings the 05 of Goodwin with him as Terry Piotrowski continues to lose positions. Lapalus now to the inside of him. But Lee Sharpstein, our leader after 2 laps.
Well, Lapalus got himself down to the inside. He was kind of hung up on the high side of the track just a little bit. But right now, he's holding up R.J. Zacharias, who also has a very fast race car. R.J., a 5-time champion down at the original Shangri-La Speedway, takes it down into turn number 3. He follows Lapalus in his tire tracks off at turn number 4. And Lee Sharpstein doing what he always does. He's just out there on a rail as Chris Zacharias pulls in early. Lap number 3, Chris Zacharias retires his car.
Well, you know, Lee, the youngest of the brothers, and you got to think these older ones are thinking, darn, he's just got the better car, or we can't believe he's a better driver because they've all got the talent. But Lee certainly knows his way around this racetrack. Doesn't much matter where he starts. And look at that nose-to-tail battle for second, third, and fourth. Jeff Goodwin has caught that bunch, and he's going to try and break up the Sharpstein party here a little bit. Gil to the inside now, Charlie.
And they're side by side for second as they go into turn number 3. Goodwin right there has to get hard on the binders. Gill a little bit out of shape with the 6 7/8 car, gathers it back up. Charlie Sharpstein will hold on to second, but that challenge for second continues. Down to turn number 1, Goodwin trying to give Gill a push as they come through the turn. In the turn, not the place to do that. Coming off the turn, yes, very well and good. But all that side-by-side going on, that's just letting Lee Sharpstein really stretch out his advantage now to nearly 2 seconds.
Well, you know, Tom, that could be part of the strategy here because these guys do remember the last time they raced here, and it all boiled down to turn 4, and it was not the outcome the Sharpsteins wanted. So the fact that they're going side by side and brothers pulling away, look who's not able to pass.
Now Gil Sharpstein has the advantage on the low side. He'll go past brother Charlie, and here comes Jeff Goodwin following Gil right through on the inside. Lee Sharpstein bypassing Bob Ripley into number 99. Remember that car over in the backstretch wall during the hot lap session. Now Gil Sharpstein has gotten clear by 6 car lengths of Charlie, and right between he and Charlie is Jeff Goodwin. Glenn Lapolis holding right in there with the number 85 machine. Lapolis running there in the 5th spot. Running 6th is R.J. Zacharias, Perry Bochabowski in 7th. And then the 31 machine, that's running there in the 8th spot, and that is Mike Nichols. They work off turn number 3. Your leader is, at 9 laps in, Lee Sharpstein.
Well, we've talked about how Lee had the advantage of being out front, having all that clean air while that battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th went on. But right now, he's at a disadvantage. He's got some lap cars ahead of him, and they're battling for position as well. Just ahead of him, the 29 of Derek Tarbox. You know he's going to get that car hooked up and race ready here, more so than it is today. But, well, he's able to get by.
And they were 3 wide at the line as Lee Sharpstein made a bold move on the high side as he bypassed Tarbox in the 6th ride, that being driven by Chris Conrad. And there's more slicing and dicing going down the backstretch. Looks like a conga line of cars going down through there. Now Goodwin to the inside of Gil Sharpstein, but Goodwin getting hung up behind the Conrad car. Gil using that Conrad car as a pick. They go down into turn number 1 as, boy, you can throw a blanket over the field. They're all down the same turn.
Well, Apollos had a little issue getting around the 6th car, too. He's not that they can't see him. I think they would just hope that he would have hugged the apron a little bit more than he did. Now Derek Tarbox holding up the gang here. Derek to the inside and Goodwin to the inside of Gil Sharpstein. They are side by side in turn number 1. Let's see who's got it as they come off the corner. They are dead even with a slight advantage for Goodwin now to the inside as Lee now comes up on the back deck of the 33 car of Guy Summers.
Well, Jeff Goodwin has position coming off turn number 4, but I think Gil Sharpstein has a little heavier foot. Now, if you look at these 2 guys, you say there's no way because Jeff Goodwin is so much bigger of a person than Gil Sharpstein is. But right now, Gil Sharpstein's doing everything he can to hold that outside line around Jeff Goodwin. Now, who says the outside line is not here for Shangri-la 2? Gil Sharpstein is making a liar out of him, and now Goodwin goes by after 3 laps of side-by-side racing.
He goes by him, but he hasn't given up, and look what's going on right behind them. There's another side-by-side battle. So on this green racetrack, it really doesn't seem to matter much whether you're on the inside or the outside. People still prefer the inside for their own reasons, but now Jeff Goodwin, there was a little contact up there between the 2, and Charlie now has his hands full with Glenn Lapolis.
Well, Charlie Sharpstein's still trying to hold on and get back into that 4th position. Lapolis right there, 3 wide, and the leader breaks in turn number 3. Problems for Lee Sharpstein. He is low and slow and coming into the pit area. Tough break for Lee Sharpstein, breaking on lap number 16.
Well, this battle for 3rd is side by side still with Lapolis on the low side and Charlie Sharpstein on the top side. Jeff Goodwin in position right now to have this race end just as the last one did in the fall with him ahead of A. Sharpstein. Right now it is Gil, and he's given it everything he's got to try and chop away and stay with him. 8 laps remaining in this 25-lap feature. Lapolis still running in 3rd, Charlie Sharpstein 4th, and R.J. Zacharias in 5th.
Lapolis doing a great job there in the 3rd position. Charlie Sharpstein in 4th, R.J. in 5th. But meanwhile, up front, Goodwin holding on to that top spot. He's still got the advantage over Gil Sharpstein. They work over in turn number 2. Gil within 2 car lengths. The differential on the stopwatch is about a half a second. as they go down into turn number 3. Gill pulling within a car length over in turn number 4. As lap number 19 will click off, Jeff Goodwin with the lead.
And next time by, it'll be the handful of laps remaining, and Gill has really closed the gap. He is there. Question is, can he strike and when? The two-car length advantage goes down to nothing through the corner.
As they work off of turn number 4, this time it's 5 laps to go. 5 more times around the Speedway for the 05 of Jeff Goodwin. But he doesn't have it free and clear yet, because I think lap traffic is going to come into play before the end of this one, because the leaders are very, very fast. These guys are all battling for position back here, and so they're not going to just move over for these guys. They're going to take that battle down into turn number 1. Gilbert Sharpstein still a car length behind Jeff Goodwin. They work off turn number 2. Goodwin during practice yesterday, yes, it was that good. They had rear end troubles on the first practice and had to pack it up early. But you've got lap cars running side by side. They're battling each other for position with just 3 more laps around, and the leaders are catching that lap traffic. Keep your eyes on that pack as your leaders work off turn number 2. There's Goodwin and Gil Sharpstein battling down the backstretch. They're going to come up on Bob Ripley, who's running side by side with Brad Knapp. Now they get it sorted out single file. And will the Red Sea part? I don't think so. They come up behind Brad Knapp. Goodwin tries high. He's going low. Doesn't know which way to go. Gill trying the high side. Gill dirt tracking it in turn number 2. Gathers it back up. And that is going to allow Jeff Goodwin to pull away and use that higher groove to his advantage. But boy, Gil Sharpstein gave it everything he could. Got dirt tracking it over there in turn number 2. White flag out for Jeff Goodwin. It's Goodwin, followed by Gil Sharpstein, then Glenn Lapolis, Charlie Sharpstein, and the 71 of R.J. Zacharias. Final lap, final turns, less than a quarter mile to go. Returning to victory lane since October of this year, it's the 05 of Jeff Goodwin. Finishing second is the 6 7/8 of Charlie Sharpstein, Glenn Lapolis. Turn. Make sure you have a green light.
Testing. Got it.
Yeah, that microphone can be a little tricky.
I was going to say, we got a happy crew here. Come on over here. You got that flag. It matches your outfit. The last time you and I met here, it was a little bit of controversy involved. None today. How's it feel?
It feels real good. You know, they gave me room the last time. I'm a clean racer, race clean, but Sharpstein didn't win them all this year, did he?
Well, no, he didn't win today for sure. Jeff, your car was hooked up, but, you know, you did have to get there, and it took a while to get around 1, 2, and then 3.
Yeah, I just worked as much as I could, a little at a time, and worked my way. I figured there'd be a caution, and then me and Lee would be side by side, and then it was time to go.
Well, his car broke, so that put him out of it. But over the last couple laps, the gap between you and Gil really widened.
Yeah, I don't know where he was, but I was watching the lap cars and seeing how I was going to go through them on the way up through.
I know you got folks here you want to thank.
Yeah, I just want to thank my mom.
Your mom? Is this Mom's Day gift?
Yeah.
Is she back there? Come on up here, Mom.
She's the only one that's important today.
All right, special moment. Who says he's not a softie? I've seen you be a softie. Congratulations.
Thanks. No, I want to thank everybody. All the fans are going to come out here. I'm going to be here a little while, do some rubbing and racing, and have a lot of fun. But, you know, I got, they can believe it or not, but there's a Stapleton engine under that car.
Hey, you heard it first here. Stapleton engine. You never know what he's going to say. Your winner today, Jeff Goodwin.
Under the control right now of John Wilbur and Rusty Smith, looking at the flags of Glenn O'Loughlin. The green is out. We're racing Portland style here at Shangri-la to that concrete castle. They turn it down into turn number 1, and Rusty Smith hung up on the high side. Jimmy Zacharias making quick work of Rusty Smith. Tony Hanberry trying to do the same as he gets down to turn number 3, but Rusty pinches him off going down into the turn, shuts the door hard on Tony Hanberry. Your race leader is John Wilbur as they head down towards turn number 1. Jimmy Zacharias in second, in quick hot pursuit of Wilbur as they go down off turn number 2. Jimmy Zacharias within a whisker of the lead as he goes down into turn number 3.
Well, that whisker might need to be shaved. He's going to take a peek to the inside, but Wilbur's going to slam the door on him as they came off turn number 4. Now he's peeking to the outside. Others have been there, and others have made it happen. Jimmy now with a run off turn number 4. He's taking a look. Wilbur's got that line pretty well locked up, and here comes Rusty Smith and Tony Hanberry. Can't rule any of these guys out, especially at the early going.
Well, this is a repeat of last year with these top 2 drivers. They battled tooth and nail, nose to tail all season long, and they continue that battle right now. John Wilbur getting his car back. He had sold it towards the end of the year to the Zachariases. Actually, TJ Zacharias drove that car in the last 2 events of the season. They continue their battle up in turn number 1. Jimmy tries to fake high, goes low, but he's running out of time because here comes Rusty Smith and Tony Hanberry. They're catching the leaders in turn number 3, but here also is Zach Curran and Jody Buckley.
It's a 6-car breakaway. Zach Curran with that new car as well. Right now hanging on to position number 5. Right behind him it's Jody Buckley. These guys are friends on the racetrack and off. I thought maybe Tony Hanberry was going to make a bid for 3rd, but Rusty had that spot locked up as well. So the guys that are in position to get past right now being pretty protective of the spots where that pass most likely would occur.
6 laps completed, just 1/10 of a second separating your lead pair. They work down the backstretch heading towards turn number 3. Then you got Tony Hanberry knocking on the back door, Rusty Smith. Zach Truesdale sitting back there in the 7th spot. Paul Johnson in 8th, Matt Clemens 9th. Michaela Ripkema in her first feature in open wheel competition, sitting there in the 10th spot. But right now, Jody Buckley challenging Zach Curran in turn 2. And Tony Hanberry has gotten by Rusty Smith as they go down into turn number 3. The 9X of Matt Clemens is low and slow around the speedway. And Jimmy Zacharias all over the back bumper of John Wilbur, but cannot get by.
Well, you missed it while you were looking. Tony Hanberry off the pace, and I was about to say it looks like Rusty's going to get his spot back, but it looks like Tony is going to be an early victim of this one, and he is going to head to the pits. Matt Clemens is following him. I don't think he realizes that somebody has an issue like that, but Tony Hanberry out of this one up front. Once again, it's almost an instant replay. Lap after lap after lap. It's looking like the 71 of Zacharias is going to squeeze in between John Wilbur and what little is left of the apron. It just isn't happening.
Well, you got a 3-car battle for the 3rd position, and that is a good one. As they go over in turn number 2, Rusty Smith in 3rd, Zach Curran in 4th, Jody Buckley in the 5th spot. As we once again take a look at Jimmy Zacharias. John Wilbur gradually swinging wider in the turns and left the door open for Jimmy. Zach almost got through, but boy, did Wilbur slam it shut in turn number 1.
Well, sparks were flying because he got onto the Nerf bar of John Wilbur's car. Neither one really bobbled a bit, but that's how close these 2 guys are racing. And Tony now Jimmy took a peek up there, upper side of the track, but right behind them it's Rusty Smith doing battle with Zach Curran. Zach also getting more and more laps through in an extensive practice run for car number 94.
Well, Michaela Ripkema in an intense battle with John Markovic, the veteran, and Dylan Terry, another rookie. We got 3 rookies running together out there on the speedway. Michaela in 9th, Dylan Terry in 10th, Tyler Ripkema in 11th. But boy, you can't keep your eyes off that lead for anything. It is tremendous. These guys running just nose to tail, lap after lap after lap. 14 of 25 are complete. Here's Jimmy Zacharias again, looks to the inside, and boy, Wilbur leaves just a little bit open, but not enough for Jimmy to go through.
And he's looking to the top side again because the bottom just isn't going to work for him. What may work is the bottom side for Zach Curran. He is looking lap after lap to take away 3rd spot from Rusty Smith. He gets a run off 2 and off 4, but just can't quite make it happen. So we got 2 great battles there, and Jody Buckley, a spectator in both.
Well, the field lines up. The pace car is in. They get on the gas. Here we go. Green flag is out. And it's a drag race down to turn number 1. Wilbur has the position, but Jimmy battling up there on the high side, trying to hang on. Can he use the momentum of the turn? He's still there. John Wilbur's going to have to pinch it down low. Here's Jimmy Zach up on the high side, trying to carry that momentum through. Turn number 4, Wilbur has him at the line.
Great battle, a little bit of contact between the pair. That has been the case in at least 3 times that they've approached turn number 1. We've seen that. Rusty Smith continues in position number 3 with Zach Curran hanging on to 4th in his new machine. And 5th is Jody Buckley, also a new ride for him. Zach Truesdale up to 6th, and it's Paul Johnson in 7th in the 77.
Jimmy Zacharias pinches it down low in turn number 2, trying to find a line. He's fishing out there right now, trying to figure out what did John Wilbur find during his practice days up here. And here comes Jimmy Zach back to the inside. Wilbur hangs on.
Well, these guys are making it exciting, and there's 6 laps remaining. Jimmy getting a run on the inside. Nope, he's going to have to come up once again behind John Wilbur. We've got that great battle for lead, and the cars almost look like they're connected at times. A little bit of contact from Jimmy to John. So far, the contact has not swayed that car number 4 one iota. Crowd really getting into this one as John Wilbur continues to lead. Zach Curran right back there. He's got the inside advantage on Rusty Smith, but Jimmy Zacharias is going to complete the pass, it would appear, off turn number 2 as the laps are winding down. Jimmy, our leader, on lap 22. John Wilbur running in 2nd. Then it's Rusty Smith, Zach Curran, and Jody Buckley, and a spin on the part of Zach Truesdale. Off turn number 2 is going to set up what will likely be our final restart. I guess anything's possible. 3 laps to go. The drag race is on into turn number 1. You could put a piece of paper between the tires of these race cars as they go into turn number 1. Zach Curran looking to take over 3rd from one of the veterans in the division. Zach Curran is down there on the low side. Rusty got him though off turn number 4. Caution coming out. And Tyler Ripkema up against the foam up there between turns 3 and 4. So 2 laps remaining. Field reaching that restart spot in turn number 4. Glenn O'Loughlin lets him go with a nod of the head and the drop of the green. And Jimmy up to his game on that restart. Zach Curran to the outside of Rusty Smith. He's going to try and get back in. That's not where he wants to be. Jody Buckley is there. And Zach Curran back into position number 4 with Buckley last. This is the final lap. And our leader, the Golden Boy, it's written right on the side of that car. Off turn number 4, picks up in the defense of his title, our opening day win. Jimmy Zacharias, our winner. John Wilbur finishing 2nd, then it's Rusty.
Right now, Carol, he's getting all the safety gear off. And again, all these drivers here wearing all the mandatory safety gear and neck and head protection devices. Some are wearing Hans devices and other things. And all the drivers, new belts, everything up to current safety standards, all going through the pre-race inspections. They'll have to go through post-race inspection. And we've given you finishes, but all of those finishes are unofficial until they pass through the tech inspection following post-race. Ladies and gentlemen, 2-time defending champion, getting back on the roll, Jimmy Zacharias. Well, back in victory lane, and that one was not easy. That almost looked like a little bit of a repeat of last year, the way you and Wilbur went with each other.
Yeah, that was a lot of work. I've had my work cut out for me all day, and the mod broke some oil lines in the heat race. Had to start dead last, and I burnt the tires off driving as hard as I could to the front, and we'll take the 3rd place. But I can't believe this Mopar engine in this car. It's a big difference from the Gale Clark engine that lost us a bunch of races last year, blowing up and having little problems. But this Gordon power, it just gives me what I need to stick it on the outside if I need it, and I can go anywhere. And Wilbur put up a real hard fight. I have to give him credit. He's come a long way. He doesn't back down when somebody's outside of him. He gives them the Nerf bar, and I know how to give it right back, too.
Well, it looked like you guys just were having a whole lot of fun out there, and it was exciting for all these fans here to watch get good, close competition like that. Same car as last year, but different power under the hood.
Yeah, it's the same car as last year. We got rid of those Chevy motors, and we're at Mopar power now.
Well, congratulations on your first win of this season.
And this win's for my mother and my grandmother. Those two do everything that they possibly could and make it possible for the family to do what we want to do. And without my mom, I don't know where I'd be.
Well, congratulations, and our sentiments exactly. All the moms here at the racetrack today, we wish you a happy day. Nine of Dayton Cody out of Towanda, Pennsylvania. The 10 of Brandon Amy out of Elmira, New York. And the 94 of Frank Morich out of Horseheads. Green flag flies as Brandon Amy makes the move on the high side, and he'll take it down into turn number 1. Again, Brandon, a graduate of the Whalen Modified Tour, has been running the 4-cylinder class out at the Chemung Speedrome for the last many years, and going to run 4 cylinders here at Shangri-la 2. His brother, I don't see him today. We were talking about it at practice yesterday, and they're supposed to be here with the 10X today, but Jeff, nowhere to be found. So, again, there are cars there are cars ready, and there's cars being built. But right now, Brandon Amy holds on to the lead over Dayton Cody as they take it down to turn number 3. So they take it down into turn 1 once again, and Brandon Amy hangs on over Dayton Cody and Frank Morich. Right now, all 3 cars running together out there, so good close competition so far. This will be 3 laps down, 7 to go. 3 down and 7 for Brandon Amy, looking to become the first 4-cylinder winner this season. Fine folks at Pudgy's Pizza coming on just a couple weeks ago to sponsor this division here at Shangri-la 2, so we definitely thank those folks at Pudgy's Good Time Pizza, Pasta, and Subs for their involvement. Brandon Amy finished 6th here during the Fall Brawl back in late September last year. He'll be halfway this time, 5 laps down, 5 to go. Cody hanging right in there with Amy, right on his back bumper as they come through turns number 3 and 4 this time. Halfway, cross flags, 5 down, 5 to go. It is Amy, followed by Cody and Morich as they head off towards turn number 1. Ooh, lots of smoke coming out of the Frank Morich machine. That's not good. Right now, Morich, of course, that could be anything. He looks like he's still up to speed, although he's not quite there where their leaders were, but that could be any number of things. He could have a tire going down. He could have, maybe some leaking transmission fluid, leaking power steering fluid. It's hard to say. But then also running these tires, get some heat in them, start growing them just a little bit, changing the stagger. And right now, number 94, Frank Morich, in trouble. He's low and slow down the backstretch. This is 7 laps complete, just 3 laps to go. Brandon Amy holding on over Dayton Cody. It's Elmira versus Towanda out there, with Elmira having the advantage over Towanda. But there's only a car length in between the 2 cars as they work off turn number 3 and 4 this time. 8 down and 2, 8 down and 2. Brandon Amy looking for a win, his first here at the Concrete Castle. But Dayton Cody not going to let him have it easily. Cody staying right there with him. A little contact over there in turn number 2, but Amy holds on. They work off turn number 4 this time. White flag out for Brandon Amy. Dayton Cody. And here comes Cody on the high side. Oh, trying to dirt track it through the turn. Just can't hang on to it. He got up to the high side. Just not enough traction up above where that black rubber mark is. Brandon Amy holds on off turn number 4. Cody making one more shot at it, but it's Brandon Amy with the win. Dayton Cody finishing in second. Brandon Amy down there getting the gear off from inside the car. Carol, he's ready to climb out.
I don't know. I thought I heard him say the car won't go, but it went, and it brought him to victory lane. And there's a happy mother over there. So whatever you do, don't forget to dedicate the win to Mom. Brandon, low car count, but it doesn't much matter when there's a good race going on, and you and Dayton put on a good race here today.
Yeah, Dayton got really fast from last year, and he's a really good driver, and he puts on a good race and races me really clean, so that's all that really matters. It's a good, clean race, put on a good show for the fans.
He almost got you. It looked like he went out to the high side over there, but I guess he lost the grip just a little bit, but it's your race, your day.
Yeah, it was a good day for us. The car isn't running right now, so we actually got lucky today. But yeah, I can't wait to finish out the season here.
I did hear you say the car isn't running.
No, it's popping and farting on me, so it's not really there right now, but we'll have it going.
Okay, well, here's your moment to thank your crew and that lady with the blonde hair back there.
Thank you.
You gotta say something about Mom. Come on.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
Okay, that's better. And Tom, a happy crew down here. They're gonna get their picture taken. Randy and the whole family's down here. So for Tom, I don't know if he's gonna talk anymore, but it's been a pleasure calling the action for you here tonight. And have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday at the RLC show right here.